Matt, I want to also talk about a couple of other things over summer, including not quite the death of DEI, but also some movements away from things like major financial institutions and an obsession with the net zero. A couple of big changes. We'll get to the DEI stuff, but you're particularly focused on JPMorgan and their net zero view.
Well, look, it is a vibe shift, as James said, not just on the issues of nationalism and patriotism. There's a vibe shift against this radical climate agenda, which is doing nothing else but making industrialised countries into third world countries. We're seeing that directly in Germany right now. Their economy is in the absolute dumps because they, perhaps more than any other country, are advancing the net zero agenda faster. That's where that's where Chris Bowen wants to go. Chris Bowen wants to go towards Germany and exactly where they're ending up. And I think the public have had a gutful of it. And the election of Donald Trump is obviously the greatest demonstration of that. But you're probably going to get a change of government in Canada later this year, and they're running explicitly on the basis of getting rid of carbon taxes there. You might get a change in Germany. It's a very complicated electoral system there. But certainly the incumbents look like they're up for an absolute thrashing. And so the world's moving against this. And the banking sector is, like always, is just following that. They followed it on the way up the net zero mountain, and they're following it on the way down. Now, every major bank in the US has left the net zero banking alliance. JPMorgan was the last one to do that. And that's going to make a huge difference to what is funded around the world. And our country, Australia, better wake up to this before we get our pants pulled down by other countries out competing us.
And, you know, tell you what, we went through this really long period after the GFC, right? And, you know, through that you had zero interest rates, money was free, people could afford to do stupid stuff. And, you know, for people in banking and stuff like this, you know, there was all this free money around and nobody was producing anything real, but there was this whole pile of money to be made by simply tearing apart the electricity grid and rebuilding it and cashing in all the subsidies along the way. And that was a business model for all of these banks. And now suddenly that's over. They all realize that interest rates aren't going back to zero. There's, you know, things have to be productive, and it's going to be a hard road the next couple of years, you know, economically. But you know, we're going to be productive again. And I think that's what Trump understands. And when I go to the United States, you know, there's this idea of, you know, there's this sense there's going to be this new American Renaissance. Now, I don't know if there is going to be that government change in Germany, because, of course, in Germany, the EU will figure out a way to undermine the election and say, no, you didn't mean to vote for those guys. You got to vote for those guys.
One week till the 20th. 1 week, of course, till no more Biden.